Events dedicated to Russia-US leaders summit in Geneva stayed way before the very meeting of two leaders took place. Russian leader Vladimir Putin gave an interview to US broadcast channel MBC, which was a clear message: "I have no fear, I will fight if needed." It was usual diplomatic practice for leaders to give an interview for mass media before big and serious summits take place. It is considered a good way to appeal to people of that country and local elites, and to show your point of view, considering particular questions. Also, it is a good way to protect yourself from rival manipulations of public opinion. Long before it was Western leaders' favorite practice, however, in the last few years Russia and China took over the initiative, probably because Western leaders simply have nothing to say. Russians firmly don't believe in them. It is an important signal, because in fact West admits its moral and informational loss before summit even started. Now it postponed informational offensive inside Russia and only tried to defend itself. In this case, the very form of Putin's interview for NBC is more important than the meaning of words said. It is obvious journalist was asking hot questions, and Russian leader did not say anything apart from official Kremlin's position. Despite that, Keir Simons, NBC journalist, still tried to build conversation in a typical American manner, aggressively forcing Vladimir Putin to explain himself and prove his case. Well, that was the goal, to force Putin passively defend himself, which will make look him weak and unconvincing. Basically, they tried to present Russian leader as weak, shy and unsure politic, hopelessly defending himself from reasonable and fair accusations from progressive part of the world. Considering Biden's refuse from mutual press conference after the Geneva summit was supposed to even out informational positions from Russian-American negotiations, the very negotiations were closed from public and journalist eyes, and it's obvious Biden is still capable to read in front of cameras. Meanwhile, Russian leaders' press conferences were supposed to be filled with hot moments from Putin NBC interview that will play an American hand. While this strategy might work with others, Russian president destroyed this tricky plan live on air. American journalists even tried to get some controversy by comparing Biden with Trump, when Putin simply said, "Trump is impulsive and new guy in politics. We can negotiate and even agree on something, but Trump still will do what he thinks is right to do. I hope Biden will be more consistent." Of course, Putin knows that it was Democrats who prevent Trump from fulfilling agreements, and that they will not fulfill them either. By doing that, he crushed one more Democrat American myth about Trump being pro-Russian president. It turns out, for Russian leader, Trump wasn't more convenient colleague than Biden. Now Americans accuse old guy for being too soft with Putin. At the beginning he tried to position himself as tough guy in Geneva, and this way to strengthen his political positions. Basically, American leader wanted to show himself better than he is, and in some way better than Putin. However, not even if it didn't work. Actually, this gave directly opposite results. Moreover, to questions about Navalny, Ukraine, BLM, Spring military alert, next Russian president, and so on, Putin calmly stated official Kremlin position, and in all these questions sent a very clear message: you can accept our position, you can dislike, Russia is as it is, period. We are ready to cooperate, we are not afraid of confrontation. If US wants rivalry, we can continue, we are not going to cry. Americans are not used to that kind of talk, rather they forgot how it is in the last 30-35 years. They know that most of the world don't like them, others just pretend they like. The majority tries to get something from them, that if they accuse, they get reaction to it, explanations and attempts to justify themselves, that if they offer something, they can bargain and negotiate, and happily takes everything they offered. Once politely explained that from now compromise is not what Americans want, but what Russia suggests, that if they are unhappy with that, they can go home and come back once settled down, they start to hysterically scream that they being ignored. Unexpectedly to them, the world is changing dramatically in front of their eyes, and none of them seems to understand what is happening. Where are they now, and how it became possible? That's why NBC journalists could not restrain himself, began to interrupt, almost correct Putin to what he was answered, that even if he don't like his answers, he still will need to listen to him, without trying to move conversation in a different direction. He, interviewer, is just a machine, a Russian president capable to formulate his answers completely on his own. In general, in the last 10 years we could see a lot similar overconfident American journalists, but not on such scale, and not at such an event as interview with the president of the country. Vladimir Putin softly but firmly took initiative from the very beginning of the interview, and nothing and nobody could stop him from saying what he wanted to say. Now 2 important moments from the interview with Russian leader. First, general idea. If you are ready to equal dialogue, we're ready. If not, you'll still come to us as you have nowhere to go. By the way, American diplomacy, like journalists, already acknowledged that. This spring, at the moment of military alert, White House first sent signals of confrontation, so now to talk about mythical Russian aggression was absolutely inappropriate. Exactly because of that, Biden forgot aggressive language and did not speak from so-called position of power. Instead, multiple times complimented his Russian colleague, Vladimir Putin. Today, Washington forced to admit Russia is a global powerhouse, just like US. Second important moment, Putin's answer about who will become next president of Russia. Americans want to know whether Putin will stay for 2 more terms or will leave big politics in May 2024. Russian leader wisely noticed that he will not be president forever, and of course, one day will leave big politics, however didn't specify any dates and left Americans in painful doubts and uncertainty. Now they have no clue with whom they will be fighting in 2024, with Putin or his successor. This is a strategical problem for them, as decisions should be made, not later, the end of 2022. In the end, despite years of lost informational war, Russia won his rout with hardcore, heavyweight American journalists. Of course, it's far from any victory. It's just the beginning, but most important, to start. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell.